Hello, and welcome back to Jacqueline Marie's Art. All right, so today I wanted to talk about the new humiliation at marriage ceremonies. I've been seeing a lot of videos circling around the net around women getting their wedding cakes smashed in their faces at the wedding reception. And I think, there's some times when people get married and at the wedding reception, they have like a playful little banter where they might rub a little bit of the cake on each other's nose or smear a little bit on the cheek, but it's done in like a loving way and, because a wedding reception is like a celebratory thing, of two people, that got together to profess their loves for the rest of their lives. And, they're just having fun the best way that they know how or how they like to. So, but this is a new thing. There's nothing fun about this. And the parties in these videos are clearly not happy with each other. As a matter of fact, most of the aggravation or disgust is actually coming from the husband because he takes a lot of times the entire cake and smash it right into the women's face. Keep in mind, women get all dolled up, for their wedding day. They put their makeup, a lot of effort usually goes into looking really pretty for this date. You have your hair done, you get your makeup done, you pick out the dress that you love, you think you look beautiful in that dress. So you don't want, when women get dolled up, they don't want anything to come and ruin, those looks, because makeup, eyelashes, lipstick, foundation, blush, whatever has to be, fixed back up. And all of that stuff, taking the cake off your face and your hair all messed up, just leaves you feeling ugly. So what I'm really here to talk about is what is the spirit? What is behind this animosity coming from the husbands that just got married to their wife to be, the person that they each other, profess to love and to cherish for the rest of their lives. All right, so this is how relationships generally go for 99.9% of people. It might be different for some people depending on where you are in the world. My dog is snoring. Okay, so if you're in America or most Western cultures, you generally have sex before you get married. That's why I said this is the norm relationships for 99% of people across the globe. But except for, I think, a certain few might do it differently. But for the general purposes of people who follow the general media, people who live in westernized civilizations, this is the common way to do it. We get together, we meet somebody, we like them, and after a few dates, we're having sex with the person, right? Sometimes after, in this day and age, these things don't last very long. Like within a month or a week, a lot of women are complaining that they have slept with the guy in a relatively short time. And there's this term that everyone uses. They said the guy have ghosted them. They cannot find the guy again. And, they feel used, abused or something, or they feel jilted or cheated. Were they jilted or cheated? Yes, but it was totally with their consent. I remember I was watching a clip of a young lady in Jamaica, and she slept with a certain young man. And in the video, she was lamenting how his name was Dwayne. This was a few years ago. I watched this video and she was like, I want Dwayne. I miss Dwayne. But Dwayne is long gone after a week of having sex with her. So Dwayne came, she gave Dwayne her valuables, and Dwayne has disappeared. Unfortunately, probably onto the next victim, unsuspecting victim, because women do have a hand in their victimizations through ignorance and lack of knowledge on the fact that they're not supposed to give up their valuables to men that they are not married to. And also, I was watching another video of a young lady. These are all a few years ago. And she was enraged. She was like, a vagina contract is entered once you have sex with me. Well, that's true in a spiritual sense. But a man is not, obligated to stay with you, because he has sex out of marriage with you. It's no commitment. You understand? It's so he's on to the next. So yeah. So this is why all these weddings, why these women are getting treated this way. They are having sex with these men before they're married to them. Usually, if they end up married to the men, you can almost believe that they dated the man for, let's say, some of them, if they do sleep together and they stick around long enough to marry these women, they more than likely have been shacking up with the men. They have been giving the man everything he's not supposed to get until he's actually married her. Like, he's getting all the sex. He's getting it whichever way, whatever kind of like, whatever is exciting sexually to an individual. Everybody is different. So he's getting all sorts of, I don't know, he's getting his mind blown in whichever way she possibly could do it. She's dressing up sexy. She's wearing lingerie. He's getting sex on a regular basis. He's living together. Sometimes, they wash, cook, clean, all the things that are done in marriage. Sometimes a child comes into this thing. There's a baby produced and they have children and all the things that's supposed to be. We're supposed to wait until we actually enter into our marriage covenant. That's how God calls it, a covenant, an agreement with each other to love and take care of each other for the rest of our life. So that's what the covenant means. And just each other and our family, whatever kids are produced. So this man is getting all of the stuff that God said is supposed to be had in the covenant. Outside of the covenant, he's gotten it all. Years of sex. All the sex he could want. Whenever, however, well, the woman wants this too, but she's not aware, or they're not aware, that it's for their detriment. Because each sexual partner that you have, ladies, before you are married, that's a nail in a coffin to your actual marriage. This goes for men too, because a lot of marriages behind all the sex we're having before marriage leads to sexless marriages. So there goes the phenomenon behind the endless sexual marriages within the world. And a lot of people, when they do get married, they are looking elsewhere for their satisfaction instead of inside of the marriage. So here's what comes with a marriage covenant. The law of the land calls it a marriage contract. Inside of the marriage covenant / contract, okay, God calls it a covenant, earthly government calls it a contract. So here is what comes in the marriage covenant contract / package. All the sex that you need, all the love and affection and tender care for each other that you need. Choosing each other every time when something goes wrong. You have a fight, you get over it, and you get back together. All the sex you need every day, day and night, 24/7, dropping it like it's hot, however you want, okay? All of that is included in there. What else? All the kids that are produced in this covenant / marriage contract is in a stable home with 2 biological parents that love them and have their best interests at heart. They see the harmony between their mother and father, and this energy radiates onto them, and they grow up and go on to repeat the same cycle, meaning that they grow up to stay out of, if you or people are godly or apply godly advice to them, they could grow up and wait for marriage to have sex too, and they can go on through God's guidance, your prayers, or your instillment in them, because you don't have to follow God to follow these rules, and it will work for you. Where you instill in them to wait for marriage to have sex, and they turn out to be productive, stable-minded young people, because a lot of young people are unstable behind, just like the adults, behind all this sex out of marriage. So this is what's behind all the hatred from these husbands who are marrying these women, and they are physically assaulting them on their wedding day. One bride was assaulted so badly because the way the husband had smashed the cake in her face, it was so hateful. It was filled with so much hatred and animosity that she was left bloodied. You understand? She got cut up behind it. So this is full on assault. You could actually get arrested for this. And one bride was so humiliated after her husband smashed the cake in her face that she got into an Uber and she left. One person has even left the marriage shortly after this. The woman was gone. That was it. She never stayed with him. So if you stay in these kind of marriages, once you finally do get married, because all of the stuff that you were not supposed to do outside of the covenant, you were doing it before you got married. So if you stay in this marriage, here is what could follow, or most likely will follow: no sex in your marriage. You will come to despise your significant other. The children you have in this union, or you probably had them before you got married, will see this negativity, will radiate off of them, and they will process this negativity, and they could go on to have dysfunctional relationships or slash marriages. All right. So this is what's behind all of this. Why these men are so hateful to these women, why they can't stand them, why they don't like them, why they don't love them, why they may never sleep with them again, why they hate them. They don't want anything to do with them, but these men feel trapped. Okay? They feel trapped in this marriage to this woman. And this men psychologically and spiritually only feel this way because he was rewarded over and over and over and over again with something that he was not supposed to get until the actual night of his wedding, when he entered the covenant finally, when he signed the marriage contract, because that's what the law of the land calls it, contract. God calls it a covenant. It's the same thing. He was getting all of this before. Keep in mind, the Bible says that marriage, sex is only for marriage. God told us to flee fornication. Every sin you commit is outside of your body, but the sin of fornication is a sin or crime against yourself. You could take a knife and you stab John over there. That's a crime against John. You have to seek restitutions for John's forgiveness. But when you have sex with people you are not married to, men or women, you are stabbing yourself. That pain is going to be inflicted on you. Your marriage is going to be damaged behind it. Your future happiness is going to be ruined because of it. All right? You are going to lose. You lose in fornication. All right? Your children lose. It is designed to drive us apart. It is designed to drive men and women apart. It is designed to turn us against each other. Women are doing it for the opposite. They're doing it for the love, affection, and care of the men. But if you notice the way these relationships in fornication progress, it has the opposite effect. They're always left, some of them, a good amount of them, most of them, chasing after the men. Once you have given up your valuables, ladies, you have given up your power. Yes, there's a power involved in that, and it's valuable. Once you give this up to a man you are not married to, you run the risk of falling in love with the guy, and if he doesn't love you, he could choose, if he doesn't walk away from you, he could choose to use this power that you have relinquished to him to abuse you mentally, physically, financially, in all sorts of ways, use you at his discretion for free, with nothing in return for you. And you could stay in this sort of dysfunctional situation for a very long time. All right? Because this is a curse, believe it or not. All the sex out of marriage is cursed, is not blessed. God blesses marriage because he said in his word, when a man that finds a wife finds a good thing, and he would add his super to your natural. All right? Meaning it's blessed if done correctly. If you stop having all the sex before you get married, if you wait, you seek guidance from the Lord when you're getting married, you get to know the guy or the woman that you're marrying, you take this time to know the person. That particular mystery is not to be known. This mystery of sex is not to be known by anybody until we enter into the marriage covenant. All right? And then when you have that marriage on that night, then you are married, you finish your wedding ceremony, you're finished with your reception, you're home, you will be looking forward to having sex with each other, because that mystery has not been You don't know anything about it. You have not opened up that gift, that great gift that's a mystery that's supposed to be remained for your actual marriage, right? So you have to wait for this. When you go to a car dealership and you drive a car or whatever, you want to take it home, it's not given to you until you pay, right? So you got to wait till you pay, then you could take the car, right? So you are not supposed to, and this is probably a bad analogy, you're not supposed to test drive each other out before you get married. You don't test drive each other out for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years. Then you're like, oh, I'm going to get married. The guy is going to feel trapped, sometimes, not all the time. And he's just going to be a little resentful. So nowadays, that's a lot of coins are actually flipped, because since men have been getting this valuable thing, is being sexually rewarded for not being husbands at all. Since they've been sexually rewarded over the years, by many women, some men who, depending on their magnetism and their attraction, they get rewarded by many, many, many women for not being husbands. So since they are not being held, to the standard that you're supposed to be held to, which is your husband, you're rewarding them within a week, within a day, within a month. They're getting rewarded, because sex really feels great, and a lot of men want that reward for absolutely nothing. They've already figured out that they could get it for absolutely nothing, so they're taking full advantage of it. Okay, so since they're being really rewarded over and over again, a lot of women, the roles have been so reversed that men are attracted to women. Men find women attractive. Men want to be with women. But something psychologically has been done to them, and it's also spiritual more than anything. Since they have been rewarded so much for not being husbands, because keep in mind, sex is a reward for our husbands and our wives. So when we're doing it out of that, it is a reward for nobody. They're being rewarded in the wrong way. So it's going to have a negative effect. So nowadays, a lot of women, since the men are getting everything they're supposed to get in the marriage covenant, they're getting it outside. A lot of women in turn now have to go down on one knee and beg. I would say it's begging, whether these women know it or not, for the men to marry them. You understand? So this makes a man look at you as a pitiful soul, even if you're the most gorgeous goddess walking the earth, and a lot of gorgeous goddesses are in this predicament where they have been reduced to beggars of men. Beg a man to marry me, beg a man to be with me. What's wrong with me? I'm so good looking, I'm so this, and this. Everything that a man would want. You have a great body, your lips are juicy, you have that come hither look about you, but you are on the groveling end of the spectrum, because you are giving up, goddess lady, you are giving up your valuables to a non-husband. All right, so it leaves you on the end of the beggar. All right, so this is why a lot of men nowadays are doing this to these women. They are showing that they hate these women, because when you give men your valuables over and over again outside of marriage, it could turn the man against you. It could cause the man to see no value in you, not wanting to give you anything, not wanting to do anything for you. He could use and abuse you. He could be in a relationship with you dragged out. In the Black community, this happens a lot, where women are in relationships where it drags out for 10, 20 years, no marriage in sight. They have a lot of kids. Everything we do in a marriage is in there except the actual marriage. They cannot produce a husband. Everywhere you look, there's a baby shower, no husband. Maybe somebody who is called a baby father might be around the corner, might show up eventually. But they're doing everything we do in a marriage, but no marriage. So this kind of behavior where you keep rewarding non-husbands, with that valuable thing, backfires on women. It backfires on people, because it turned the sexes against each other, cause these men to hate you, cause them to leave you to go for somebody else who's also rewarding them, by the way. So it caused your children to end up in a broken home where they're miserable and they become dysfunctional, and you face a lot of shame and ridicule. So to have cake smashed in your face so hatefully that you're bleeding, or you got to leave your wedding reception in an Uber and with your husband behind, this is one of the greatest form of humiliation. It is almost like a humiliation ritual by your enemy Satan, because when you live in sex out of marriage, this is who you're following. And the Bible says that the thief Satan has come to kill, steal, and destroy. So when you do it his way, it is going to lead you down the path of self-destruction. It's going to lead you into heartbreak, disappointment, shame, degradation, humiliation, beautiful ladies groveling, begging men, proposing to men on one knee, men not seeing your value anymore, men who are mentally disturbed. They hate women. They're angry at women, even though they're attracted to women, but they don't like them. So you see how this progresses. I was watching a video the other day where this guy went to pick up his kid from the mother, and the mother did not want to let the kid go. And the man was getting ready to pop her in her head, but his friend held him back. So you see where this stuff leads to. This was a black couple, because, the out of wedlock and the non-marriage thing is rife in the black community. Unfortunately, I'm going to do another video touching this issue. So this is where all of this is coming from, ladies. So if you are living with a man you are not married to, all your valuables is being given up daily to this man. Keep in mind, the man is now in control, and he could decide to do whatever he wants with you. Okay, sometimes you're in control, but generally speaking, this stuff really works against you, women. If you women value marriage these days a little more than men, a lot of men just don't see the point, because everything in the marriage covenant is given to them within a day or two of meeting the woman, or a week. And then they move on from that woman because they don't stick with them very long, because they don't want them. Then somebody else is rewarding them. They're constantly getting rewarded for something they have not invested anything into. You know what I'm saying? They're going through these marriages. Not marriage. They're going through these women, and the women are giving up their valuables. I keep saying, valuable things, ladies, are not easy to obtain. When something is deemed valuable in this world, no matter if we don't see the value in it, those who are presenting it as valuable, it is not easy for any human to get a hold of it. It is held at a high standard. It's hard. A lot of us will never get some of the things they consider valuable in this world, because they're set so astronomically out of our reach that we can't get them. You don't have to set yourself in an unreachable place, but you want to set yourself in a place where your husband could access you. Where you date multiple men, you get to know them, and you do not sleep with any of them. You don't do anything sexual with them. You are just interviewing men who could potentially be your husband. So you get the full benefits package of the covenant, which is a marriage with lots of sex. Sex in marriage is the most beautiful thing in the world, because it's a true commitment. All right? Fornication has great sex. I'm not denying that, but there's no commitment. You be laying with somebody you love and crazy about, say tomorrow he is gone. Sometimes a friend of mine who used to fornicate with women, I'm sure he still is, because we weren't friends too long ago. I lost contact with him, but he says as soon as he sleeps with these women, after a short while he changes his number. The women are left longing for him. You get the full benefits package. You get kids who are stable-minded. You and your husband are stable-minded. Your finances are pooled together. The man's money is yours. Whatever the man has is yours. If he dies, you get something out of that. All right, you and your children, and hopefully you pick men that have decent jobs. You and your children will be taken care of. God forbid, unfortunately, he passes away, because this is a part of life. All right? You are given a ring. It's your husband. Men, when they do marry women that they love and care about, women that don't make it easy for them, they really take care of these women, and it's highly unlikely that they are going to leave these women for other women. So you see the difference. It's a benefits package. God knows what he is talking about. He is telling you to avoid this trash behavior for a reason, because it will protect you from all of the disappointment, the humiliation, the abuse, and the begging of men going down on your knees. You know, God, when you switch the roles, you become a man and he becomes a woman. It backfires completely. All right, you end up in a wedding where the man will smash the cake in your face and you're bleeding. You're leaving in an Uber. You're humiliated. So this lifestyle only brings humiliation, disappointment, heartbreak, and hatred. Sorry, guys and girls, fornication turns us against each other. It does not bring us closer. It causes the sexes to hate each other. And it sets you up for a miserable marriage. All right? So that's all I have to say. So that's the phenomenon. That's the spirit behind this men angrily smashing all the cakes in these ladies' faces and humiliating them on one of the most special days of a woman's life. So let's get off the road of fornication, ladies, men, because this applies to you too, and start doing things properly, the way God said to do them. It's not in this world nowadays, it's abnormal in people's mind to do things the way God said, because nobody wants to wait for anything. You know, we just want a quick fix, but look what it leads to. So let's invest our sex wisely and correctly, because keep in mind, our children is also victims of this, meaning that they end up aborted, murdered, okay? They end up dying. They don't even make it out the womb. Somebody has to end them because you didn't work out with the father. All right? Unfortunate for these poor babies. You know, and you too could end up dying before your time, because like I've said before, a lot of women in these shack up relationships end up dying before their time. All right? So let's quit this stuff. Let's have beautiful marriages where we're happy, and at the end of the reception, we can't wait to get home to tear each other's clothes up because we waited for that present, that beautiful, mysterious gift that we're supposed to get. And we were not sleeping with other people behind our spouse's back before we got together. All right? So that's it. So take care until next time. And I'll talk to you guys. Bye.